My story is stranger than fiction, and it really would take me a long time to tell you the whole story.
Mr. Corcoran graduated from high school, got a college degree, taught school, made $1 million in real estate.
Could never read a word when you were standing in front of the classroom.
His entire life was based on a lie.
How the heck did that happen?
First, I was a millionaire that couldn't read. Then I was a teacher who couldn't read. I knew the headlines. I wanted to tell the story. Nobody was looking for the teacher to be a non-reader. So it was a good place to hide in a way. Looking at a newspaper, I would look at it and say, this is a foreign language to me. Can you read Chinese?
No.
Okay, that's what it was like. I really worked hard to put on a show. I probably showed more visuals, movies and education films, and then we'd have discussions. My childhood was full of joy. My parents loved me, told me I was a winner. I loved my sisters loved me, and I went off to school, and it was a completely different world. I could not succeed in the classroom. A teacher would ask me to read, and I couldn't read. I would rather turn the desk over and get thrown out of class than be exposed in any way. I went to 6 different schools in high school. When I did make a mess of things, I moved to another school. By this time, I had something of value when I moved. I had athletic skills. I was a homecoming king, and I was a captain. And so I have all the outside appearances of success. But I always discounted my success, always discounted it because I couldn't read. In high school, it doesn't take a lot to cheat a bit. Having your friend next to you on an exam, or even swap out the paper, and they would put the answers down for me. That's low-level, entry-level cheating. I knew I wasn't prepared to go to college, but I had an athletic scholarship to go to college. The first day I got there, I said to myself, I'm over my head. This is way out of my league. I evolved as a cheater.
From an average cheater to an expert cheater.
Oh, I was superior. I was an all-American cheater. I cheated in almost every single course that I took in college, one way or the other. When I left the university, I had a master key to all the buildings. Often people say, it would have been a lot easier for you to just learn how to read. And it's kind of like, you didn't think I wanted to do that? I didn't want to do any of these other adventures at all. But the opportunity didn't happen for me in elementary, it didn't happen in junior high school, it didn't happen in college, because it couldn't happen in college, because who would I tell? I couldn't tell anyone. And then when I became a teacher, I couldn't tell anybody. So I became deeper and deeper into my story, my lie. The first person that I told was my wife. And I had basically rehearsed it, in front of the mirror. Kathy, I can't read. Kathy, I can't read. Kathy, I can't read.
I really didn't know how bad his reading was. I knew I did the writing and reading, but I thought that was because he wasn't a good writer, and he was a teacher, and he didn't want to be embarrassed. I realized later I'd never seen anything that he'd written,
We had a 3-year-old daughter, and I was reading a book to her, and I just made up the stories. And I was really a good storyteller.
He was reading to Colleen, and I was cooking oatmeal. I can remember this very well, listening to him, and I'm thinking, God, can he read? I mean, I remember the thought. It was hard for me to compute that he couldn't read those words.
I saw Barbara Bush. Her issue, her cause was adult literacy.
The statistics are staggering, and the cost to our country is a terrible waste.
I saw her in television, and she was talking about adults that were learning to read. And I was kind of at awe, because I'm thinking, I didn't know there were other adults. I didn't know there were hundreds of adults or thousands of adults that were reading at an elementary level. The emotion was building, and one Friday afternoon, I had my pinstripe suit on. I drove up in my Mercedes to go to the Carlsbad Library Adult Learning Center. Reading filled a big hole in my soul. I was in my 50s when I read my first novel, and it was The Catcher in the Rye. I didn't understand how you could get into a book, experience. You were there. I was sad that the book was coming to an end. I wanted more. After I learned to read, I had an opportunity to share my story and make people aware of the problem. I gave one speech, and the president of ABC introduced me to this group of businessmen, and I get a call from 2020 and said, would you like to go on 2020? I told Oprah my story. I told Larry King my story. I'm telling my story to you. Through my work as an advocate, I was appointed by the President of the United States to the National Literacy Board, and that meant I was an advisor to the President of the United States. I bought into the biggest lie that was ever told about me, that something was wrong with my brain. And I think there are a lot of little children right now that are getting that message. Quit calling us learning disabled. It's toxic. It's a toxic term. It's insulting to a human spirit. When you call somebody learning disabled, what do? I mean, I was never learning disabled. I was able, and I learned. The truth is, it's never too late to learn to read, and our brains are capable. This is a miracle to me. And I prayed for that miracle when I was 8 years old, and I didn't get it until I was 48 years old. And I could have, and I should have learned at 8. And what I need was an adult, a literate person, a teacher, somebody. And this is a call for others that can read and have underestimated their precious gift to share it with other people.